have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Welcome to the Scholars of Wrestling. In case you haven't noticed, I'm talking very slowly because nothing happened storyline-wise this week in professional wrestling. Where the hell are you going?
Hey guys, I just got in. What just happened?
Absolutely nothing.
Really? No.
Nothing happened.
Okay. Nothing has happened this entire week.
Nothing has happened this entire week. You haven't missed anything.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I was afraid that something like horribly disastrous happened this week and nothing good happened. Like, okay, so I actually missed this entire week of wrestling. Give me some good news. What happened?
You want to hear? Well, you got some good news? Well, I'm afraid I got some bad news.
That has to be the most lackluster bad news Baron
impression. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Okay, that's better.
You know what? Just sit back, everyone. Internet wrestling community, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Wow, look at those bars going to the red.
Yeah, take that, bars. Vince McMahon is no longer a billionaire.
He's a trillionaire?
No.
He's a millionaire.
You got it. He is lost his ranks and has become a millionaire.
Huh.
You know the story. You have it on your little lappy top. Let's get right to it. We're gonna do something a little different. We're just gonna go right into the big thing that happened.
One of many.
Well, yeah, one of many. But
kidding.
Honestly,
I actually did watch
this really is the biggest thing to come out of the world of professional wrestling.
Well, one of them anyway.
No, the biggest. We have another thing that's close to second, but that's just for worker storylines, all that. This is actually like financial,
real life,
real life. And with your lappy top out, fool. What's the word on Vince McMahon losing his $1 billion name and just getting back the title of $1 million?
Watch the internet community go up in arms and say that the world is falling. The WWE is going to close. All those TNA fanboys are going crazy.
Okay, everyone just calm down.
WWE is sinking faster than TNA is, apparently, according to the internet wrestling community.
Okay, everybody chill. Just as a point of reference over here.
Internet wrestling community, you're crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Well, we already knew that, but specifically speaking here, I'm just looking at the one article, this being reported by several different media outlets, but I'm just looking at Forbes.com right now. It says they're posting a massive loss. Quote, stock plunges nearly 50% as NBC Universal deal fails to impress.
Fails. Impress.
Yeah, the big feat... shut up. Apparently the big statistic that everyone likes to quote these days is that Vince McMahon supposedly lost $350 million in assets.
He now his value is now only $750 million.
Yeah, woo. I'm sure he's just going to cry into his now modestly sized pool of money.
For us normal people, rich people look at this and go, oh, that sucks for him. We're like, for us, it's like, he still has $750 million. Shut up.
Yeah. And again, as soon as this news broke, as we referred to earlier, the entire internet wrestling community, they're all up in arms. They're freaking out. But realistically speaking, how much of us really know much about, the stock world, and how many of us are CPAs and whatnot?
No.
Yeah, really, not many of us really have that knowledge.
You're looking at a very short list of internet wrestling community fans who actually know what they're talking about, and they are saying that this is bad, but not world-ending. The WWE is collapsing from within on itself. Yeah, it posted a pretty big drop. It went from $30 a share to around 11, which hey, not good. Okay, not good at all. But it's the WWE. The WWE has come back from worse than this. Okay.
Really, exactly. And I'm not sure where I found this, of course. Right now it's still relatively early on. Stories are still breaking. But one report I saw reports that the average stock price of WWE is normally between like $8 and $11 regularly. I believe right now, as of this recording, I believe it's around 11 or 12. So it's still relatively okay. It just wasn't nearly as high as some of the other investors have been expecting, which promoted this big drop off after WrestleMania. It's all in how,
because with the network,
what facts you get out of the numbers.
Because with the WWE network and all the people who bought it for WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, because WrestleMania was so good, a whole bunch of people finally jumped on the bandwagon and bought the WWE network. Stock went up massively.
Yes.
Okay, and now, yeah, it dropped $19 in a day, but that's just it. It's back to normal now. So it's like everyone's making this out to be a whole big deal. It's really not, because this is normal territory for the WWE. And in fact, when you think about it, it's actually still on the high end of the normal stock price for the WWE.
Yeah, except this is still more troubling more for investors than anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Again, in my reasonable investigations, there have been a lot of the troubles have come through what some people are calling a rocky start for the WWE Network launch. So much so that one outlet is reporting that they're still going to need about 1.5 million buys, somewhere in that area, just not to lose money, pretty much. So much so that there's definitely a lot of insecurities going on within WWE right now. I know firsthand, well, I don't want to say firsthand, but from what I've encountered, again, like I've mentioned in the past, I am the member of the WWE Fan Nation, not the Fan Nation, that's the other thing they did like 5 years ago. The fan service that they send out to people who are just to get real time feedback. About a few days ago, they sent me a poll, just like in the past, around the time of WrestleMania, I had said that I had actually not purchased the WWE Network, but I have watched WrestleMania. They sent me a questionnaire wondering why. I just flat out told them. There were some insecurities as far as the connection going into the event, just from early projections, so I watched it with another friend. And they went into all this specific detail, saying, ask me other questions like, what other WWE personalities are you interested in seeing on a regular basis? If we add this feature, that feature, and other things to the network, how likely are you, given your experience, to purchase the WWE Network by next year's WrestleMania? So they're definitely taking a keen interest right now. Obviously, for like we said before, for people like you and me, it really doesn't mean much. But for the people who are the higher ups in WWE, even though Vince McMahon is not going to live off of mustard sandwiches for the rest of his life, but he's still feeling it on some level. Again, some people who do have quite a bit more financial expertise than me, they looked beyond just the $340-something loss. People did report that that was not a technical loss on his part, like you and I would experience a loss. This is more of a theoretical loss, taken from the stock hit.
Yeah, it's a loss in value of the person. It's not the amount of money that he actually has. It's the loss of value to his name.
Yeah, he really... Think of it this way. Vince McMahon lost about $200 million alone in actual funds just on the Linda McMahon races. The failed Linda McMahon races.
The not even close Linda McMahon races.
Yeah. This is more for potential investors, and this is going to be more damage control for WWE. I've actually got another posting here, also being reported on Forbes.com. Apparently, Vince McMahon is going to be hosting a Business Outlook conference call on this Monday, May 19th.
May 19th!
May 19th.
Kane better stay away from that.
Yes, they're going to be doing a conference call with investors.
See no evil to the business call.
Well, that's the whole problem. Their investors are seeing evil right now. I believe one other report that I've been unable to confirm is that another investment company is actually calling for a reorganization of its board of directors. Or here we go. To quote, replace the company's executive management team or explore the sale of the business, and that such changes are a necessary component of any successful strategy going forward.
Yeah, that's actually good.
No.
That will happen.
Yeah.
Okay, when I like the Great Khali.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's just a ridiculous call.
And these guys actually think that they don't have a controlling share.
Yeah,
they don't have a majority stock. They can say that it's a good idea, but you're basically telling Vince McMahon to fire
A McMahon.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley. A McMahon. You're telling him to fire his family. Okay.
Yeah, and they know if they have a controlling
that.
stock in the company, maybe they would have a case. But I really don't think that, again, while their concerns as investors are valid, just the way this is all being presented, I don't think that, again, nothing about this has indicated that this company, Lemelson Capital, I believe, nothing indicates to me in any of the reports I've seen that they have anywhere near a controlling stock. They might be able to convince other investors, but that's about it. Someone posted actually somewhere, I believe it's on Bloomberg or either Bloomberg or Forbes, they actually have publicly searchable records of all the investments of everyone's publicly announced investments in a publicly traded company. I think Kevin Dunn alone has like somewhere upwards of 300,000 shares of stock or something ridiculous like that. And then there's this other guy, what is his name?
Is there a number for this company? How much stock they bought? Or
I have not been able to find it, but I'm positive that number exists elsewhere. Again, I'm not a big finance guy. this is just what I've stumbled across in the internet wrestling community's communal expertise here. To be frank with you, I'm a little surprised that we have so many financiers in our fan base as it is.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, it seems pretty enlightening. At least enough to the point where we don't have to worry about WWE not existing in over the next 2 years or something ridiculous like that. It's not that dire. But really, this is mostly for investors. Sure, and as far as we're concerned, we can't really call Vince McMahon a billionaire technically anymore. But as far as things that actually do concern us, after seeing this, how it's going to affect me is I am going to be more likely to buy the WWE Network now. Because not only do I admit, before WrestleMania, that was just me being incredibly stubborn and wanting to see Daniel Bryan succeed. Not that it really had any real serious bearing on me, on my attitude towards them, or not like they even ever heard this show, although I wish they did. But really, it was just me being stubborn. Now, I am willing to invest in the WWE Network as of right now, not just to support a company that I enjoy and a product I enjoy, but from what it looks like from the last fan survey that they sent me, it looks like they're going to be sweetening the pot a lot. First, with their announcement that they're going to give this little incentive program for referring a friend.
Yeah, they're already doing that.
Yeah, that's just what they're doing already. And if they need to get subscriptions up and get another 1.5 million buys or something like that, that is going to provide even more value to an already considerable amount of awesomeness that they're shoving down our collective internet gullets right now. Which, let's face it, at this point, I can understand anybody being a little nervous about the WWE Network when it was a new thing and no one really knew what would make it up or how good the connection would be or anything like that. Now, unless you're like dirt poor, if you've got money to spend on anything WWE related and it's not the WWE Network, you are doing something wrong. If you like wrestling, like we like wrestling, and if you're listening to the show, obviously you must like wrestling, and you don't have a subscription to WWE Network for 24-hour wrestling from all points in history, past, present, and probably future, then it makes no sense whatsoever not to invest a measly $10 a month just to put towards something that you love this much. And that's my end rant. What do you guys think?
I honestly got nothing. I got nothing to say other than, yeah, I'm gonna get the network as well, just for the reasons you said. Not just because I support it, it's because what they've been doing to try and stir the pot to get me more invested. Hell yeah, count me in.
Pretty much the same idea. I just have to get a better operating system so that it runs well.
Yeah, but you don't have to listen. You don't have to watch it on your computer or your smartphone. You also put it through your Xbox or something. I know Xbox just recently added network support. Oh, but wait, there's more. According to posting on lordsofpain.net. Oh, the following was sent out Friday evening. WWE investigation initiated by former Louisiana Attorney General. Yeah, this looks like they're looking to check out possible violations of state or federal security laws.
Oh, goody. The hits just keep a-coming.
Yeah. Okay, this is just an investigation. I highly doubt they're going to find something in this. But really, the powers that be and the people who have a sizable investment in this, they're the only ones who are seriously looking into this. But still, this is... I'm more amused by this than threatened or scared. I think this is funny. They all think, they're going to get big bad Vince McMahon. Come on, no you're not.
If you didn't get him with the steroids trial, you're not going to get him with this.
Yeah.
Because everybody knew he was giving everybody steroids and they still couldn't get him. That's it.
Yeah, this is going to be... Yeah, sure. Do they stand to lose money, WWE and all their investors? Yeah, of course they do. Theoretically, at least stock value and assets. But as far as everything else, I really do not believe that this is going to be a really, really seriously major hit for anyone outside of the WWE or their investors or anything like that.
So here's my question to you.
Yeah.
What would you want to see WWE do to, like, when it comes to their product to gain more investors? What would you want to see them do?
Really, I honestly cannot say there's not anything much more that I would want to see as a customer of WWE that they're not already doing. Really, I can only speak from my own personal experience here. Like I mentioned before, or at least touched upon, this is just me needing to mobilize. As far as this, the onus is really not on WWE's part as much as maybe some of their investors think it is. If anything, they would probably need to crack down more on piracy. Because a lot of the people who have any sort of buying power, a lot of the problem that I'm seeing is that people are just not buying. Instead, they're pirating what they want to see. The only thing I hope to see is that since news of this is going so mainstream, I suppose, that maybe now people will get the message and they'll think, oh yeah, Vince McMahon, I guess, is not so untouchable anymore. You know what? I'm going to put money towards something that I actually care to see. Something is actually good right now. And I have no more excuse now. I am going to actually pay for all the good premium content. You know what? Take my money, WWE. You're doing something right. And I'm all for that. And you know what? I'm going to be the first one to admit I am part of the problem. Because even though I sort of grit my teeth and like, you know what, I want Daniel Bryan to win. I actually sounded like an old prospector there. I talk like an old prospector when I'm mad. But really, in all seriousness, I've got no more excuse. I'm a wrestling fan, and if I'm not buying into the WWE Network, that's just a stupid idea. And I think everyone else needs to wake up right now, and unless there's something I'm missing, which I'm not going to rule out the possibility that I am, there's really not much excuse for it. If you're a wrestling fan and you're spending any money on wrestling at all, put it towards the WWE Network. Give back to the company that's already given us so much. Come on, if you got to be really, really in need if you can't afford $10 a month for something like unlimited wrestling, blarg, just matches after matches. I don't even want to go on any further just because I sound like such a damn shill for the WWE Network right now. But really, if I had to say anything, I had to call for a call to action for all three of us and the internet wrestling community and beyond. Odds are, if you're listening to this, you can afford to go for $10 a month to get unlimited wrestling to support, what is basically the face of mainstream professional wrestling in the United States, if not the world. Just, guys, internet wrestling community, people like us, let's just stop being lazy. Let's put a little something back. Let's not keep taking, because really, that's no matter how much you like about the McMahons or Triple H, eventually they're not the villains that we often make them out to be. Today we need to focus on putting our time and our efforts and our money back into the sport that we love. And that's just the one thing I can see that really needs to change. It's not the WWE's fault. They're giving us the moon and the stars right now. It's us that, as consumers, not just wrestling fans, that ultimately we vote with our dollars. And if we're not voting with our dollars towards pretty much the sweetest package deal that professional wrestling has to offer today, then I think we seriously need to reconsider our options and where we're putting our entertainment funds as wrestling fans. Is there something let me turn it back over to you guys. Is there something specific you'd like to see different, or to see the WWE do different or add to the WWE Network to get you to invest in something like this?
I don't think so. What they basically have to keep doing what they've been doing. Build up marketable new stars that can make a difference. They're doing good shows on the WWE Network. They've got NXT, so you can see those up and comers that you will be seeing on the main show in the very near future, and just out with the old, in with the new. Really, that's all they can really do at this point. They're doing the best that they can at this particular point in time. They're just running into some really bad luck right now.
Mm-hmm. For me, when I'm looking back and see if there's anything I would want to see them fix or change when it comes to their product, the only thing I really comes into my mind is something I've been talking about for years, is just, yes, it's going what Brian said, help building your stars, but one thing I feel that they've been focusing more when they're building their stars is they're building their heroes a lot more than their villains. where it's just the storytelling is just most of the time just gets repetitive and just boring to me. Mainly from their heels, where I think the only real credible heel that I can see in the WWE is Evolution and Bray Wyatt. Everyone else is just lackeys, where you can't, where their credibility is just getting squashed by the face superheroes, where they don't even become real competition unless they become faces themselves, and they turn into the powered up superheroes that the kids want to cheer for. That's the only thing I can really say that I want to see them do is it's like build their good guys and their bad guys to an even point where you'll just be invested in each of them. I mean, there are segments when we're watching, like, let's say Fandango and Santino Marella. I was like, okay, let's just not focus on what's going on with their storytelling and talk about random stuff. If they want us to be more invested with, like, if we want to see Santino Marella and Fandango, do have it be more serious, not too silly. Well, it's different. It's hard to say with that example because Santino Marella is supposed to be the funny character, the joke, all that. But I just, with the funny character and having the heel, like a heel that you want to build to be your top star, lose to him by just essentially how I want to picture it is a finger poke of doom with a sock on it, with a sock on your hand, like the Cobra. I'm sorry, me just hitting you like this, I just don't really count that as a legit finisher. And
well, I don't think anyone really would, except for maybe the kids. But again, I don't even think, I take that back. Not even the kids would invest in something like that. But again, in my eyes, something like Santino is inoffensive. He's just one patch in the grand quilt that is WWE as we know it. And again, a lot of the things that we have objected to, or at least I have, that you mentioned, things like building new stars or establishing new villains and everything, WWE has done a very solid job of doing just that. Daniel Bryan, the rise of Daniel Bryan alone has been absolutely wonderful to me. The introduction of Bray Wyatt over the past year, that's been fantastic to all of us. The Shield over the past couple of years, again, fantastic, and they know they've got a cash cow in them since they're keeping on going and they aborted their heel turn. Even though there's a lot to complain about as far as, subpar booking or something like that, as far as I'm concerned, it's wrestling. It's sort of the nature of the beast. There's always going to be a certain degree of that to go around. So no matter what wrestling company you're in, no matter what you're doing, especially with the sheer amount of content that WWE is producing now, yeah, you're going to get your fair share of stinkers. Which, given the sheer amount of numbers and content and raw footage they're coming out with all the time, yeah, a lot of it is going to be bad. But that's going to be if recent memory is any indication, sure, there's going to be a lot of mistakes, but in relation to everything else that they're putting out, there's still going to be and majority of it that is good to serviceable to good. This is fine with me. And things like, they're not doing enough to promote new talent. They're not doing enough to promote, beyond Cena. A lot of the major problems that I saw in the past that I noticed are being fixed, and they're being fixed fairly adequately, at least in my eyes. So, really, the only excuse I personally have left is I'm just being cheap. WWE is going in a direction that I personally enjoy right now. Even if I don't absolutely in love with it, it's still enjoyable. It's still serviceable. There can do something with it. It's still, for the most part, quality wrestling programming. And I personally have no more excuses, especially after my little bet after WrestleMania. I personally have no more excuses for not jumping the gun and just going for the WWE Network right now. But again, that's just me.
It's like I said, it was just, yeah, they're doing fantastic with how Bray Wyatt's being presented, like when on the mic, but just like
Most of the time.
Most of the time, but just with the booking is the real major factor for me. I mean, for WrestleMania, it's understandable because you want to have John Cena look strong at the grandest stage of them all. But like what we were saying last week, or was it last week?
It was last week.
At the Extreme Rules response show. One major thing we were Brian and I were talking about is that John Cena pretty much went through the Wyatt family.
And the only reason the Wyatt family won was because of that creepy kid, and that didn't make Bray Wyatt look like a strong villain.
And that's always my biggest complaint. I don't see the villains in the shows strong without having to pull some cheap victory or like cowardly stuff all the time. I want to see credible heels. I mean, nothing else more to say. This all the heels are just pretty. At least the mid card heels, especially, are just getting mowed through by the superhero faces, and it's annoying me. And I actually remember at the end of Raw, I was angry with how this past Raw ended. I'm just like, I love the Shield, but this is just to a point where it's just kind of, okay, this isn't new anymore. I was like, I know that they want to build them as super powerful force, but this is just, you're losing me.
Now the heel argument, it's not stopping me buying the network. Okay? Buying the network is going to come whether the heels are crappy or not. But it's going off of what he said. Just when the Shield were heels and they were up against the same odds, they cut it down to like 6 or 7 people, and then the 7 people got the one up on them. And then they turned face,
and now they're
all
facing
of a sudden,
like 11.
And they're facing 13 people, and yeah, Evolution comes down and kicks their ass for a little bit. And the 13 kick their ass for a little bit, and then Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins come in with the crazy chairs, and it's on. And it's like, in order to make your superheroes feel like superheroes, you have to have villains that you're afraid that the fans think could actually beat them. And there's only 4 people that is the case for at this time, and one of them I can't even really say that for. Okay, you got Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H. All 3 guys can beat anyone at any time. Clean, with shenanigans, whatever. Then you have Bray Wyatt, who with most can beat clean. He beat Daniel Bryan clean at the Royal Rumble. They beat the Shield clean at Elimination Chamber. Then he comes up against John Cena, the superhero, and can't beat him clean. At all.
Yet.
At any point. Yet. In a last man standing match, not gonna beat him clean. I'm sorry. If he beats him, it's not gonna be clean.
Well, it's a last man standing match. Anything goes. So no matter what, it's not clean.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. In order for Bray Wyatt to be a credible villain in my eyes, he's got to beat John Cena 1-on-1 clean. Whether it's the way he beat Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble by smashing him around in the barricade with the Sister Abigail and then beating him, but it's you have to build up the heels so that it's like they can beat this guy at any time. Like Sheamus when he was a heel. Just all he had to do was pull out that bro kick and it was over. And he was a heel and could beat anybody clean at any time. Just like with the move like the Sister Abigail, it's been shown that you can do that. But I want to see him do it on a guy like John Cena. Like Roman Reigns, clean. Straight up, one-on-one.
Okay, again, this doesn't have much to do with what we've been talking about, the WWE Network. But here's an idea that, as far as the finish of the last man standing match between Wyatt and Cena, how this could go. Personally, I kind of like the idea, but the idea being that for Bray Wyatt to win, he does not actually have to win the match. Because as far as the kayfabe storyline, the storyline has been basically a repeat of, the Kane versus Cena storyline, where he's trying to make him unleash the monster, blah, 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 blah. Insert your specifics here. What if, during the course of the match, Cena just explodes on Bray Wyatt after all this provocation? Bray Wyatt just sort of gets on his knees and is just like, hit me, John, hit me, John. A retread of what he did for WrestleMania. Pulls out whatever shenanigans he needs. Cena eventually does do this while Harper and Rowan are just watching. Cena goes nuts. He wails on him, does whatever crazy spots he's got to do. Wyatt stays down for the 10 count. Cena wins. Then Bray Wyatt just is just out of it with a smile on his face or something like that. Because he may have lost the battle, but Bray Wyatt won the war. Would something like that work for you?
The only way that would work for me is if John Cena does not come out the night after on Raw as happy-go-lucky, jokey John Cena. He'd have to come out and sell that he just lost his mind the night before, and he'd have to sell it. With John Cena at this point, I don't know.
I agree, yeah.
I just don't like. If that's the case, I don't see this ending with John Cena changing his character. I mean, he's had plenty of opportunities in his entire face run. He's had plenty of opportunities to have that spectacular heel turn that would made the internet wrestling community go boom, similar to how Hulk Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach to form the NWO. Eventually, now, no matter what, that heel turn will make that, if it ever comes, the John Cena heel turn will make that kind of impact with how much they are building him. But, there's just so many losses that you can take, that Bray Wyatt can really take to be like, okay, yes, he's great on the mic, he's a great character, but how far can you go without having him have some kind of credibility of beating top guys to become that big star? Because soon you're gonna have to take it down and be that, and actually gain credibility in the ring other than on the mic.
If that's the way the storyline turns out and he loses his mind but stays face, fine, but he's got to develop an edge to that character. Yeah, he'll come out as he'll try to save face and whatever, but there's still that look in his eye that at any time crazy John Cena could come out. But with John Cena and the way he's been for the past 10 years, I don't know. I'm losing good. I'm losing. I don't even think the heel turn will go over huge now. If it happens, it'll just be too late. Time passed.
Yeah, the time passed.
That's it. And just if John Cena beats Bray Wyatt clean and doesn't sell it, it's a wasted opportunity. It's a wasted opportunity to me, and it does nothing for Bray Wyatt, and he's no longer a credible heel in my eyes. If John Cena goes over clean and there's not even a slight change to the character, he has to lose his mind. for it to do anything for me.
And it's even hard to have that point now because he's had that opportunity to basically lose his mind and not even go heel, just lose his mind. And all it is with like the fans booing him and just ripping on him, and now he's just like, oh, you can either hate me or love me. I'm not going to change who I am. That's what he says. He's not changing who he is. He's not changing his beliefs or anything. He's still going to be him. That's the part where I'm just like, okay. Like what Brian said, you turning heel has been long gone.
So you don't turn him heel. That, or at least you don't sell it like that. If anything, again, as far as turning heel, that's never going to happen. Straight up turning heel, not going to happen.
Can't happen.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. If anything, they should go back on track to what they were doing before, which I felt worked. Make it a character progression, not, I'm just going from good guy to bad guy, blah, blah, blah. Just, it can't be as black and white as it has been in wrestling in years past. If they want to do this right, I feel that the best possible option would say that Cena was driven to extremes, however WWE wants to set that up or make that come about, and Cena can just get really, really violent or something like that. I don't know. But,
so we're all in agreement here, basically.
Yes. Again, if you've been watching wrestling for the past 10 years or so, we all know Cena's deal now. We all know more or less what to expect. It's just a matter of how they pull it off and how consistent they can make this and how dedicated they are to the concept of a more... I'm not going to say heel John Cena because that's not the blatant answer. I think we all know that. But how complicated they want to get with the John Cena character. I think, personally, this is just my opinion, but I think at this point, John Cena, the character, is going to be marketable enough with whomever, with kids, with the younger crowd, that even if they do make John Cena a bit more nuanced, a bit more complicated of a character on an on-air personality, I think that it will survive, and it will do nothing but elevate Cena as far as popularity is concerned, with a bigger portion of the WWE fan base, that it will be a net good for the character and for WWE programming as a whole. But since we've talked about this so much, again, just using Bray Wyatt as the ultimate example, I gotta go back to at least revisit my original question here. Let's say WWE executes the rest of the John Cena angle perfectly. How much would it affect your guys' purchasing of the WWE network in like the next month or so?
Oh, I'm going to buy the network.
The network is...
That's not...
The network isn't... The network's getting bought.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about whether or not we're going to buy the network, because we are. It's just the question on what are you going to do to make the story that you're presenting to us an entertaining story.
It's like, what are you going to do to try to get yourself out of this hole? And for us, we're buying the network completely. It's gonna happen, whatever. But for those people who are still on the fence, what do they have to do? And the main thing I would think on a lot of people is you got to build up people better. Because Bray Wyatt had an awesome build going into this feud with John Cena. Going into WrestleMania, awesome. Even after WrestleMania, awesome. You get to the cage match, and it just... It's been 10 years, and you still have to protect John Cena and this character he's been playing for 10 years. Show some change. Because that... I can tell you that is a reason why your stock is dropping, why all these things are happening is not enough. There's been some change in the last few months, namely the Daniel Bryan character, but there needs to be more.
than just one character.
There
And
needs
then with,
to be more, and you were doing good with Bray Wyatt, but as of right now, with the Bray Wyatt and John Cena angle, I think you're slowly dropping the ball.
Well, just going off of what you just said right there, I know this is pretty much the other big bit of news this week was the injury of Daniel Bryan, which is going to...
This guy has the worst luck in the world.
Yeah, this is literal. Now, you want to talk about bad luck Bryan? This is the literal bad luck Bryan that we're looking at right here. Some internet world, someone out there just changed that meme to just Daniel Bryan's face. Because really, on the bright side, we did hear that the surgery was successful. It wasn't like horrible, lose my smile type of an injury like the... it seemed
it
to be
wasn't
playing out
Stone
on
Cold
Raw.
having to get hit by a car because he needs a year off.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. I don't have the exact figure right in front of me, but they're just estimating that he'll be out for at least a month. It's not going to be really, really horrible by most conventional standards of wrestling injuries, but it's sizable enough where they're going to have to come up with at least one more month of a world without Daniel Bryan.
at least for a few weeks.
Yeah. So again, that sort of ties back into what we've been going into right now. Obviously, Shield and Evolution are going to be stepped up, which I believe that they can be as sort of a replacement.
They'll probably be. This time, they'll probably be the main event of Payback.
They've got to be.
I think so. It's either that or John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, and if John Cena versus Bray Wyatt is the main event,
then something big has to happen at that match. Like, we're to a point where Bray Wyatt actually does successfully keep John Cena down for 10 seconds, not from handcuffs. That's the one thing.
No, it'll probably be
not
something...
from being handcuffed to the bottom rope or any garbage like that.
It'll probably be something like when he faced Edge in the Last Man Standing match and the Big Show came out and threw him into the spotlight. Remember that? It'll be something big like that.
I hope not. I hated that.
I really hope not, but yeah, this is the time. Your WWE World Heavyweight Champion is out of action, and if you don't strip him of the title, okay, if you don't go that far, this is the time to build up your newbies, to build up your people that you want in the future to be fighting him for that World Heavyweight title. This is the time for your Shields, for your Wyatt families, for whoever to step up and take their shot. This pay-per-view is going to show where the WWE is heading in the very near future.
Who they're putting their investments into.
Yes. Okay, now I just have one more question for this show, or at least this episode. As far as the future of the WWE title hunt, assuming they do strip Daniel Bryan of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, who or what do you see them doing instead with the title?
There have been talks that the Last Man Standing match would become for the vacant WWE title. In that case, we know what would happen. But I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the WWE title just retconned into a Last Man Standing match. I think that they take this pay-per-view off for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Maybe have a number one contenders match. Maybe have the Last Man Standing match become a number one contenders match. Or something like that. That's how you have the Bray Wyatt win, and then you set up Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt in a continuation of the feud before. Or you have Kane versus someone step up in a number one contenders match for Money in the Bank.
I wouldn't even go that far. Honestly, my first gut reaction was if you actually need to do something to replace this, I say in order to find the number one contender, do exactly what they did for the Intercontinental title match. Do a tournament. Make it. I believe
I don't
someone
want-
else even said tie it in with King of the Ring, and make that the grand prize to get a WWE World Heavyweight Title match or something like
And
that.
that's perfectly fine, but what would you do with it for this pay-per-view?
For this
What
pay-per-view,
would you do? That's why I was like, you have a number one contenders match at the pay-per-view. I don't think you do 2 tournaments one after another.
I don't
Why
think
not?
so.
I don't think so, because the Intercontinental title tournament was so good. Okay, and I just don't think it's a good plan to do 2 tournaments after another. Shake it up a little bit. You already did a tournament. What are you gonna do to raise the stakes? If you already did a tournament for the Intercontinental title, your second tier title, you got to raise the stakes for the World Heavyweight title, and that's why I'm like, maybe if you're gonna do the last man standing match, you do it number one contender. Maybe you don't name it as a number one contender match, but it's basically stated. It's basically understated that the winner of this match is basically top dog going after Daniel Bryan. But then you got to continue this feud with Kane, because Kane's the one who took him out. So this is actually very intriguing. Okay, do I think they're going to strip Daniel Bryan of the title? No, I don't. I think they're gonna do it like that CM Punk knee injury that he had during the Ryback series of matches in 2012. I think they're gonna do something like that, because they spent a whole lot of time on Daniel Bryan, and if it's only gonna be a month, they're not gonna just throw that away because of bad luck. Okay, but I don't think you do another tournament so quickly after the one you just had. If it was a couple months in between, sure, do another tournament.
Exactly.
But I don't think you do it so quickly after the last one just
Exactly.
ended.
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not suggesting that the wisest idea, if we're going to be stripping Daniel Bryan of the title, I'm not suggesting that they do an entire tournament in time for Payback. That's just, again, I agree with you. That's absolutely way, way too soon. And just with between the Cena Wyatt rematch and the Evolution Shield rematch and whatever else they want to throw on there, I'm going to go so far as to say, you know what? We do not necessarily need to have a title match on this pay-per-view. Now, in a perfect world, I would book it as, instead of an 8-man tournament, they have a 16-man tournament starting maybe this next week on Raw, if they do end up announcing that they're going to be stripping him of the title on this Monday's Raw. Start a 16-man tournament, or even, hey, a double elimination tournament, if they don't think that's going to be too difficult for people to follow. That way, you can set up a brand new person as a WWE champion. You can set up all these extra new storylines between other people who are in the tournament, and maybe you can even turn a big personality, either face, heel, maybe reestablish an old star, maybe establish a new one. Again, the one big example I have in the forefront of my mind is how they handled the last WWE Championship tournament around Rock Bottom, I believe.
Survivor Series 98.
Yeah. I'm thinking of that started
The Deadly Game tournament.
Yeah, the Deadly Games tournament that kicked off a feud between Mankind and The Rock, which they actually ended up having a really fantastic title match at the pay-per-view Rock Bottom in your house, which, again, I absolutely loved, and they had a really great recap video for it. I gotta find that video again. In fact, that'll probably be the thing that makes me invest in the WWE Network, just so I can go back in the archives and just look up that pay-per-view. But now I'm digressing. The point is, sure, I would not want to see the WWE rush another tournament out the door. if they really take their time with it and do it at the right time, in the right way, I think it would be just the thing WWE needs right now, and the WWE title needs right now, just to get some good quality matches on the card while still giving Daniel Bryan the time he needs to rest up. I am done ranting right now about Daniel Bryan.
And this all depends on whether or not they strip him off the title, which we will find out on Monday. Nothing else more to say here.
Go ahead, WWE. Strip Daniel Bryan, I dare you.
They're not going to. They're not that stupid.
Now, Jeff was so in on Daniel Bryan winning the WWE title. Now he wants them to strip him just so he can have a tournament. This is ultimate opposites of the spectrum.
Ha! Does this mean I've got my douchery title back?
There is no title. You guys are just making this stuff up. There is no title. There never will be a title.
I'm going to make the title.
Get that dream out of your head and just throw it out the door.
I will make my dreams reality.
Dreams are meant to be broken.
Shattered dreams, baby! Yeah.
Gold dust for WWE champion. Make it happen.
Take a nap.
Okay.
All right, we're just gonna. I think we'll just call it here, and
call it here.
Call it the end here. Right?
Call it a year. The fiscal year is dead.
Just stop. All right, you know what? Just do your cheap plugs. I'm actually done.
The WWE is dead. Long live the WWE.
Yes, indeed. And you know what else you can long live? Our Facebook page. Like us, our main page. The Scholars of Wrestling Show on Facebook. Look us up. Join us for all the fun. We post links and fun things and things we love about the world of wrestling. Just follow us. You can also follow us on our main Twitter page at ScholarsOW. And of course, you can always subscribe to us on our YouTube, Scholars of Wrestling channel. Look us up. Enjoy all of our episodes, all of our back episodes. We're going to be uploading new stuff every single week. More great stuff to come. We've got stuff in the pipeline that I'm excited about, that you should be excited about. All great things coming soon. Stay tuned. Subscribe to us. Yay.
We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome. Let's go throw WWE our money.
Yes. No, the WWE is dead. Didn't you know?
Yeah, long live the WWE. Let's just go throw Daniel Bryan.